Hey there, it's Nick from Comics to Your Couch. It's after Christmas, it's a new year, that means it's time for another episode of What Are You Reading? First up, we have Volume 2 of Tokyo These Days. This is by Taiyu Matsumoto. This is a manga that I read the first volume of. It's manga about a mangaka writer who retires, but then realizes he wants to keep making art. It's a beautiful slice of life manga, very atypical from the typical manga that you would expect. And I read the first volume and it was beautiful, blew me away. If you are an artist struggling with creating with what you want to put out into the world, if you want to read about other writers going through that same process, or about learn more about the process of writing in Japan, then I think you should definitely check this out, and I can't wait to finish it. Next up, we have Pants World. I absolutely love these little comics. This is from Josh McCouch, is his name? Yeah, Josh McCouch. Interesting name. Sorry, Josh. Josh does these like simple, hilarious, kind of scary web comics. They sort of feel very akin to Sunday morning newspaper, if you ever grew up reading those. But I just absolutely love it. And then this hardcover is one of the best hardcover books I've ever gotten. This is like a vinyl with all the characters stitched on, like raised to your fingers. It feels so great. Anyway, Pants World, hilarious. Definitely wanted to check out the rest of the comics that I hadn't seen, so that's why I got this. Next up we have, what is this? Epic Collection Volume 4 of Namor the Submariner. This is Titans 3. This is a continuation of the Epic Collection that I got a few months ago. I think I did a video on that. But anyway, I love Namor comics. I fell in love with them, and I just had to continue the series. This is by Roy Thomas, and then we have Jerry Conway on this as well, and I love Jerry Conway's work on the Incredible Hulk, the classic Incredible Hulk from like the late 60s, 70s. If you haven't read Namor comics, I think you should definitely check them out. They're definitely worth reading. And there's not really a great way to read them aside from these epic collections. He doesn't really have like a dedicated omnibus that's readily available aside from the John Byrne run that's more recent. I think that the Namor comics are really interesting because they sort of fulfill the same stylistic role as Thor comics in the elevated language sense and the expansive otherworld sense, but they're almost more eloquently written. There's a lot of dialogue in Namor comics, and great big spectacle stuff as well, but it's very word heavy, which I think is interesting. And I've been loving the Jason Aaron series going on, so I thought I should probably catch up on the character's history, on his classic history, so had to get this. Last but not least, this is a comic series that I have read, but I had to finally get my hands on the omnibus of the original, The Eternals, Jack Kirby, but also collects all of the Eternals runs up to the 90s, I believe. It's a 1,000-page plus omnibus. This is a true omnibus. I read this when I lived with my roommate. Shout out to my roommate. But I had to get my own copy. And this was 65% off for Black Friday. I had to. If you haven't read the Eternals, we're not friends. No, I know that it's not for everybody, but the Eternals is just such a great series. It's truly, this gets thrown around a lot, it's truly kind of set apart from the Marvel canon, especially the original series, the way it was intended. It is Jack Kirby's science fiction masterpiece, his exploration of themes outside of the expected from his work in Marvel Comics. And a lot of the early Eternals issues are actually kind of poking fun at the idea of comics and kind of creating a new modern mythology. And if you're anything like me, after you read this, you'll be like, why are there not more Eternals comics? And I think the biggest problem facing the Eternals is people not reading the Eternals. They say, oh, I don't understand them. I don't get them. Have you read it? No? Well, you should read it. And I'm definitely going to reread at least a portion of this because I finally have it on my shelf. Anyway, this was a quick episode, but that's what I've been reading. Please let me know in the comments some of the things that you've been reading. And also a quick reminder about the TikTok ban coming up imminently. Please continue to support my reviews, support my channel by checking out my YouTube page in the bio or on my Medium site to read my review articles. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next video.